The ocean, it's vast, mysterious even. I mean, we know more about the surface of Mars than we do about what's going on down in the depths of our own oceans. Crazy, right?
Right.
But here's the thing. We're finally starting to crack the code.
Yeah.
And how are we doing this? It's all thanks to data.
Data, yeah.
And that's what we're diving deep into today.
Hmm.
The world of marine operations
Hmm.
with KTB Marine. And we're not just talking, ships and cargo. It's the information driving those things that's really fascinating.
The information, yeah.
Have you ever felt like you were just drowning in data?
Oh, yeah. Every day.
Well, imagine being a shipping company. You've got invoices piling up like a storm surge, logbooks from 1,000 voyages, weather reports changing like, well, the tides.
It truly is a tidal wave of data.
It's overwhelming.
And until recently, a lot of companies were stuck trying to navigate all of that with, like, a rusty compass and a prayer.
It's like trying to find a message in a bottle when you're standing on a beach with billions of bottles. So where does KTB Marine fit into all of this?
They're like the master organizers of the maritime world. They take this sea of unstructured data and turn it into a well-oiled machine.
And their secret.
ETL or ELT methods.
Okay. Those sound like acronyms only a data scientist could love. Give it to me straight. What do those even mean?
Okay, imagine you're trying to build a giant Lego model, right? But all you've got is 1,000 pieces all jumbled up together. No instructions, no nothing.
Sounds frustrating.
ETL and ELT are like meticulously sorting all those pieces by color and size before you even start building.
So it's about taking this mess of data, this jumbled up Lego pile, and actually making it make sense.
Exactly. Transforming it into a structured format that can be analyzed, understood, and actually used to make decisions.
So instead of just having mountains of data, companies can use it to make better decisions.
Absolutely. In fact, KTB Marine, they helped one terminal operator that was drowning in its own data. They had KPIs and everything, but it was like having a dashboard with 100 gauges all pointing in different directions.
Oh, I can imagine. That sounds unhelpful.
KTB Marine came in, used their ETL magic, and suddenly they had a clear picture of what was working, what wasn't working, and what they could do about it.
So they decluttered the data. But what happened next? Did things actually get better for this terminal?
Let's just say they went from being stuck in the doldrums to sailing with the wind at their back. Their efficiency skyrocketed. We're talking big reductions in costs, faster turnaround times, the works.
Wow.
All because they could finally understand what their data was trying to tell them.
Okay, so we've seen how KTB Marine tames this data beast, but what tools are they actually using to, navigate these treacherous waters? What's in their arsenal?
Well, one of their key offerings is data analytics, but we're not just talking about, like, crunching numbers here.
Right. There's got to be more to it than that.
It's about finding the stories that are hidden within all of that data.
Ooh, stories. Okay. I love a good story.
For example, KTB Marine used data analytics to help one shipping company identify a major bottleneck in their operations.
Oh, really? Where was the bottleneck?
The port of Shanghai. Turns out their ships were spending an average of 3 extra days just waiting to dock.
3 days. I mean, I'd go stir crazy.
Yeah, it was costing them a fortune.
So what did they do?
KTB Marine used historical data, they factored in weather patterns, they even looked at things like social media trends to build a model that could predict these bottlenecks in advance.
Wow. So they could actually, reroute ships and avoid those delays.
Exactly. And it ended up saving the company millions in potential losses.
That's incredible. It's like having a crystal ball, but for shipping routes. Now, let's talk about those freight rate models for a second. Those sounded seriously next level.
Right. So imagine being able to predict the cost of, let's say, shipping a container of coffee beans from Brazil to Italy down to the last dollar.
Sign me up. But seriously, how do they do it? There are so many factors that could affect those prices.
You're telling me. KTB Marine's models take everything into account. Fuel price fluctuations, global supply and demand, even potential weather disruptions, political instability. You name it, they factor it in.
Wow. So it's like they're playing 4D chess, but with cargo ships.
It's incredibly complex, but it gives their clients a massive advantage. They can negotiate better rates, optimize their supply chains, and make much more informed decisions.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so they've got the data, they've got these incredible models, but how do they actually put all of this information into action? That's where this voyage itinerary scheduling tool comes in, right?
Precisely. Think of it like a superpowered GPS, but for ships. It takes all the data, all the insights we've been talking about, and it creates the most efficient routes possible, minimizes transit time, fuel consumption, everything.
So it's like Waze, but for giant cargo ships.
There you go. It's all about efficiency. Saving time, saving money, making sure those ships arrive exactly when they need to.
This is blowing my mind.
Okay.
Okay, last but not least, let's talk about the future of all of this. Machine learning. I'll admit, this one feels a little bit like something out of a sci-fi movie.
I know, right? But it's becoming very real very quickly. Basically, machine learning is about teaching computers to learn from data, right? And then use what they've learned to make predictions about the future.
Okay, so in the context of marine operations, what kind of predictions are we talking about? Give me an example.
Imagine being able to predict something like the spread of red tide, those algae blooms that are harmful to marine life.
Oh, right.
And then using that information to adjust fishing routes.
So instead of just reacting to these blooms, they could proactively avoid them altogether.
Precisely. Or imagine being able to predict equipment failures on a cargo ship before they even happen.
Really?
Machine learning can analyze all sorts of data, sensor data, maintenance logs, even weather patterns, to identify those potential issues before they turn into major problems.
So it's like having a sixth sense for your entire fleet.
It's like having a crystal ball, a sixth sense, and a super brain all rolled into one. That's the power of machine learning.
It's one thing to have all this data, right? But it's another thing entirely to actually understand what it all means.
Oh, absolutely.
And even more importantly, how to use it to make smarter decisions.
Yeah, you got to know what to do with it.
Remember that case study? The one with the rail corporation?
Yeah.
Trying to decide between using rail and marine transport?
Right?
They had mountains of data,
You sure did.
but it was KTB Marine that actually helped them make sense of it all.
That's right.
They were like data whisperers or something,
Data whisperers. I like
translating these ones and zeros into actual, business strategies.
That's what it's all about, right?
Yeah.
Making it actionable.
So it's like, okay, imagine you've got a map, you've got a compass,
Yeah.
but you also have this, like, experienced guide
Okay, yeah.
who knows how to actually read the terrain. And they're going to navigate you to where you need to go.
Yeah, you need that guide for sure.
It sounds like KTB Marine is changing the entire game for the marine industry.
They're definitely making waves.
They're helping companies unlock this whole new level of efficiency. We're talking profitability, strategic decision-making. I mean, none of this was possible before.
It's a whole new playing field, yeah.
It's like they're giving these companies like X-ray vision for the ocean. They can see everything. They can predict the unexpected.
And stay one step ahead of the competition.
Exactly. Always one step ahead. Well, as we wrap up our deep dive today, here's a thought-provoking question I'll leave you with. What kind of potential is hidden within your business? What could you achieve if you could just unlock the insights that are buried deep in your own data? Something to think about. And if you're ready to, chart a course towards data-driven success in this industry, check out KTB Marine. They just might be the expert guides you need to navigate those uncharted waters.